Hello everybody. Thanks for joining me in my shop. This is a chunk of canary wood. And this is another chunk of canary wood. It's just longer. My plan is to make a segmented bowl with a solid base. So actually half of the bowl is going to be solid with two segmented rings. I'm going to make the segmented rings before I work on this block though, before I work on the bowl blank. So I'm just getting all my measurements down. So the outer diameter of the bowl blank, or the solid chunk there, is about 7.5 inches. So I have to have my first segmented ring about a 1/2 inch inside of that. So that's what I use that little chart for. That's just a homemade chart. Real easy to make. It's handy for measuring the overlaps and determining how long the pieces should be that I cut. So the first ring, or the smaller ring that I'm making right here, I'm using an 1.5 inch wide piece of that board and cutting 16 segments. The second ring, the bigger ring, is 2 inches wide and also 16 segments. And I added, if I recall correctly, 3/16 of an inch into the length of the long end of these segments. I hope that makes sense. So I always measure from the outer perimeter, the outer diameter of these rings, not the inner. The inner that I measured before on the solid chunk, that was just the starting point.
That's gorgeous wood.
All I'm doing here is just applying pressure so that this glue joint will set while I get the bowl blank, or the base of this bowl, ready. So the first thing I'm going to do is make it round, and then I'm going to work on forming the bottom of the bowl, the bottom and outside section of the bowl. This is a very hard heavy, durable wood, but I have to say it turns really nice. Now that I have the base of the bowl nice and flat, I'll go ahead and mark where the foot is going to be. And this little circle is where my little ID tag will go. When I reverse mount this, I'll be using my 4-jaw chuck in expansion mode on the inside of that mortise, which is about 3/16 of an inch deep. And I prepare this the same way I do the rest of the bowl, which I will speak in detail about later in the video. Did you see that flash? That chatoyance? That's unexpected. Alright, let's catch up on some subscriber projects. Kelly Slatton made these. That's cherry. That one's flame box elder, if I recall. And purple heart. Really nice, Kelly. And Scott Bennett made these. It's not turning, but it's some fine work. I appreciate it. Nice job, Scott. And I want to thank all of my subscribers, old and new. I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for helping my channel grow. And now that I have this reverse mounted, the next thing I need to do is make the top of it flat so that it can receive the rings. I sanded that to 80 grit. You can see the glue still wet there, but it's holding pretty tight. And I'll just eyeball this and hope for center. Hope it's nice and even. I'll use my thumb method like you saw earlier. And then I'll just use the tailstock and a block of wood to push this like a clamp. And it'll sit there for about 8 hours before I start turning again. I started sanding at 120 grit, went up to 220. This is denatured alcohol to clean it off some and raise the grain. And then I resand with 220 grit up to 500. And then I hit it with some Axe abrasive paste, followed up by the polish. And I'm not sponsored, I just like it enough to recommend it with confidence. It's good stuff, American made. I mentioned the flash earlier, the chatoyance. It left me a little bit speechless. I had no idea it was going to do this. And the wood is so pretty. Canary wood. Wow. Look at all those colors. The shape's a little bit different. Let me know what you think. And speaking of think, here's some food for thought. Look it up. It's important. Thanks for watching. I sure appreciate it. God bless, and Semper Fi.